There's a moment that happens to a lot of people after financing a car. At first, it feels exciting. You sit inside it for the first time, the new car smell, the smooth steering, the touchscreen, the feeling that life is finally moving forward. And psychologically, it feels bigger than just buying a car. It feels like progress, like success, like proof that all your hard work is finally paying off. Then a few months pass, and suddenly, that exciting car starts feeling strangely heavy. Not physically, financially. The monthly payment shows up. Again, insurance feels higher than expected, fuel costs pile up, maintenance starts, appearing parking, taxes, unexpected repairs, and slowly, something uncomfortable happens. The car that once felt freeing starts making you feel trapped. A lot of people quietly think the same thing. I wish I didn't finance this car, but here's the important part. This usually isn't about the car itself. It's about the psychology behind the decision. Because car financing is one of the most emotionally powerful financial decisions modern life encourages people to make, and most people don't realize how much psychology is involved when they sign those papers. Think about how car payments are sold. Nobody walks into a dealership asking, how much extra money will this remove from my future over the next 5 years? That's not how the brain works emotionally. Instead, people think, can I afford the monthly payment? That single shift changes everything because financing transforms a huge purchase into something that feels emotionally manageable. 35,000 sounds scary. 429 per month sounds reasonable. And dealerships know this. That's why conversations focus heavily on monthly payments instead of total cost. Because humans naturally evaluate pain in smaller pieces. Psychologists sometimes call this payment framing. The brain reacts differently to one large painful cost versus small repeated manageable costs, even if the total outcome is much more expensive. Now, obviously, not all car financing is bad. Some people genuinely need reliable transportation. Some people can comfortably afford it. Some financing deals are reasonable. That's not the real issue. Here, the issue is what financing does. Psychologically, because monthly payments quietly normalize expensive lifestyles. And once people normalize debt payments, they often start building entire lives around recurring obligations: car payment, phone payment, subscription payments, buy now, pay later payments, furniture financing, credit card payments. Eventually, people become financially committed before they even begin the month, and that creates pressure. Now, let's make this relatable. Imagine someone earning decent money, not rich, not struggling, just normal middle income life. They finance a car with a $450 monthly payment at first. It feels fine, but then real life happens. Rent increases, food prices rise, insurance goes up, unexpected bills appear, friends invite them on trips, the holidays arrive, and suddenly that 450 doesn't feel small anymore. It feels permanent. That's one of the biggest psychological traps of financing. The payment follows you long after the emotional excitement disappears. But the really interesting part? Humans adapt emotionally very quickly. The excitement of a new car fades surprisingly fast. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. Something feels exciting at first, then slowly becomes normal. The brain resets, so the expensive car payment stays, while the emotional reward shrinks. That's why many people end up financially stressed by purchases they barely feel emotionally excited about anymore. Now, here's where things get deeper. A lot of people don't finance cars purely for transportation. They finance identity. The car becomes connected to success status, confidence, validation, feeling grown up, feeling respected, and social media quietly amplifies this. Everyday people see luxury cars, successful lifestyles young. People showing success upgrade culture so naturally, people begin associating nicer cars with personal progress. Even when financially, the purchase may be slowing them down dramatically. And this is where the hidden opportunity cost appears. Imagine someone spends $450 monthly on a financed car for 5 years. That's $27,000 in payments. Now, imagine instead they drove a reliable used car with no payment and invested even half of that difference monthly over time. That money could compound into something far more valuable than the temporary excitement of a newer vehicle. And this is one of the hardest financial lessons to emotionally accept. Some purchases don't only cost money today, they quietly cost future freedom. Now, this doesn't mean nobody should ever enjoy nice cars. That's not the lesson. The real lesson is intentionality. Can you truly afford it comfortably? Or are you stretching your future self to satisfy your current emotions? That's a completely different question. Because financially successful people often think differently about purchases. Instead of asking, Can I afford the monthly payment? They ask, what is this preventing me from building? That mindset changes behavior massively. Now let's talk about another hidden problem with financing. It reduces flexibility. When large portions of income become committed to fixed payments, life becomes more fragile. Job stress feels heavier. Career risks feel scarier. Unexpected expenses feel more painful because the payment never pauses. And psychologically, that creates something many people quietly feel: financial suffocation. Not because they're poor, because too much of their future income is already spoken for. And honestly, this is why some people with decent salaries still feel financially anxious all the time. Their income looks good on paper, but their obligations quietly consume it underneath. Now compare that to someone driving a simpler paid-off car. Socially, it may look less impressive, but financially, they often have something much more valuable: margin, more flexibility, more investing ability, less stress, more freedom to make life decisions. And freedom is one of the most underrated financial luxuries in existence. That's why wealthy people sometimes drive surprisingly ordinary cars, not because they can't afford more, because they understand something many people learn too late. Looking successful and becoming financially secure are not the same thing. One creates appearance, the other creates peace, and peace matters more long term. Now, obviously, cars are emotional. Humans naturally love symbols of progress. There's nothing wrong with enjoying life. But problems start when emotional purchases quietly delay long-term freedom. That's the balance people rarely talk about. So if you're thinking about financing a car or already feeling trapped by one, pause and ask yourself something deeper. Am I buying transportation or am I buying an identity? Because that answer changes everything financially. And honestly, some of the smartest financial decisions people ever make are the purchases they decide not to make. Because wealth is not only built by what you earn, it's quietly shaped by the obligations you agree to carry for years afterward.